Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, Tumbuya responds to suspension. LTA suspends 2 companies for overloading. And shortage of qualified tradesmen a concern.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
Former People's Democratic Party leader Linda Tumbuya has responded to her party suspension, saying they did not breach the Political Parties Act 2013. The Fijian Elections Office yesterday suspended the PDP for not following procedures under the Act to update the Register of Political Parties, which has not been done till to date. Speaking as the former party leader, Tumbuya says the MOU was signed with SODELPA earlier this month, but that doesn't constitute a merger. Akusita Tale has more.
The former PDP leader and recently appointed SODELPA provisional candidate Linda Tumbuya says there is no reasonable cause for suspension or deregistration of the PDP, as she had lodged the resignation letters with the party and the elections office via email. She says it wasn't a merger, but a relationship of cooperation and unity with SODELPA.
I resigned as party leader and I was also the registered officer, so I was not the registered officer anymore. Now, in an email on the 21st of December, I informed the Supervisor of Elections that there was a change to the registered officer, and he received it.
However, Registrar of Political Parties Mohammed Sanim says the party should have made a written application to the registrar and signed by the new registered officer and majority of the office holders of the party. Therefore, an email is inaccurate as there were no signatures.
The registrar replied, and it's all here in his reply, stated that we needed to put this in writing to him. But he acknowledged receipt of it, that we needed to put it in writing to him. That was the only reply I got from him. So we submitted it in writing. We submitted in writing formally in a letter to inform him of the change in registered officers and also our resignations.
Sanim has objected to this, saying Tumbuya and other members of political parties that wish to resign are required to submit a letter with signatures to allow it to be recorded as official, and Tumbuya failed to do this. Sanim adds it is misleading to allude that his reply to the email, which said the email was not sufficient, was an acknowledgement under the Act. Sanim told FBC News PDP has breached the Act by not following the correct procedures and the suspension still stands. The PDP has 60 days under the Act to remedy the breach and the suspension will be lifted. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
2 companies have had their vehicle registration suspended after being found repeatedly overloading their vehicles. The LTA has also suspended registration for 9 other vehicles for a period of 12 months. Pranita Prakash reports.
The LTA has issued over 200 traffic infringement notices with fines amounting to more than $1 million.
Between the period between September and November this year, a total of 12,880 trucks were weighed Fiji-wide to determine if they were overloading. Through this process, a total of 225 tins amounting to $1,069,000 were issued.
The LTA chair says those companies with repeated offences will be required to show cause and will be dealt with.
The LTA is sending a strong warning to other companies that they will also be taken to task for habitual offending.
The Fiji Roads Authority Chief Executive says they are working with the LTA on the overloading issue.
Overloading has a dreadful effect on roads. A lot of people say, oh, the roads in Fiji are affected by the weather. Well, no, they're not. No, that isn't the weather's not the cause. The weather makes what's happened worse. The cause is the deterioration of the roads through damage and through things like overloading. The effect of an overloaded vehicle is massive.
According to the LTA, 6 companies appeared for show cause, 2 were suspended while 4 were issued with first and final warning. It's also sending a strong warning to other companies that they will also be taken to task if found overloading their vehicles. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The shortage of qualified tradesmen in the country is a concern for Fiji Ships and Heavy Industries Limited. FSHIL Operations Manager Lopeti Ranravu says their work must comply with international standards. Therefore, they need qualified manpower to meet those standards. Sainyani Boiler reports.
The lack of qualified tradesmen is a challenge for Fiji Ships and Heavy Industries Limited. And in an effort to address the issue, attaches are now being employed to meet the demand.
Those who are seeking for attachment, we take them in. Even the number here, we say is supposed to be only 3, but sometimes we make it more. Because of the demand, And our role here is part of the government pillars, for us to facilitate that.
Ranravu says they have extended their services to other Pacific Island countries as well.
It's not only within Fiji waters. We have extended our ship repair service to regional countries. Right now, we have vessels from Tonga, we have vessels from Vanuatu, we have vessels from Solomon Islands, we had vessels from Rarotonga, Kiribati, Tuvalu, even Marshall Islands coming down to Fiji.
Fiji ships, we are looking at increasing manpower in this boat building industry. It's a fading industry now, as we all know that the government has closed the shipyard where all the skills were at that time in the 80s. That's why we are building fiberglass boats, starting from smaller boats, to increase skills and manpower on this trade.
Fiji Ships and Heavy Industries Limited is one of the region's leading ship repair and maintenance company and have so far this year serviced 12 vehicles from the region. Sainyani Mboila, FBC News.
Fijians in the Central and Western Divisions will have an opportunity to meet their favourite radio personalities at this year's FBC 3112 Street Party on Sunday. Mirchi FM breakfast host Ashna Chand says they will be expecting a large turnout this Sunday at Koroivolu Park, Nandi, and at Albert Park in Suva. Chand says everyone can expect live music from local bands and DJs, along with performances from various dance groups. She adds that since it's an alcohol-free event, families can be rest assured that it will be a safe event.
We've got the rides as well, we've got food stall as well, and then we will be having water fights as well.
It is always good to host any event in Nandi, and Mirchi FM annual street party is the biggest event on our calendar. It is happening on Sunday, so we're inviting everyone.
Still to come, Compol labels Deshwar Dutt as dangerous. And we continue our look back for the year. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoi Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Si kombinasyon mo tikola ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoi Viti.
Ayaw ko ato sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gila gitu Venezuela nagudurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoi Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoi Viti na bonga ni BNN.
A lot happened in the last 4 months, with the main focus on Fiji's presidency at the COP23 meeting in Bonn, Germany, led by Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama. FBC News takes you back to stories that made headlines between August to this month. Akusita Thale with the highlights.
The last quarter of 2017 saw doctors receive on-call allowances, which will be separate from their pay. This was good news for doctors who were called to work outside their rostered shifts, especially during emergencies. This year also saw more than 2,000 enumerators deployed to count for Census 2017, enumerators collecting vital data for future planning, including around 198 questions that delved into your personal life. However, the Bureau was adamant the information is confidential. The e-ticketing system was also made compulsory and is now the in thing when boarding buses today. The e-ticketing system began with a few glitches, however it's being ironed out now and it will assist in collecting data needed to make proper policies, thus help provide information on taxation leakages. Meanwhile, the Fiji Competition and Consumer Commission noted there was more than 3,000 cases of contract breach by landlords since 2010, and one area highlighted was landlords and tenants colluding to increase rent. The Fiji Revenue and Customs Service also classified individuals with net assets worth $1 million or more as high wealth. On record, Revenue and Customs was able to identify 527 Fijians and businesses who fall in this category, but believes there are many more high wealth individuals who have not declared their full net worth. Fiji Airways, our national airline, also received its latest aircraft, a DHC 6 Series 400 Twin Otter from manufacturer Viking Air Limited. The aircraft is the first of 3 Twin Otters the airline has purchased for its domestic subsidiary FijiLink, which will replace 2 of its existing 3 Series 300 aircraft. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama in early November took over the presidency of the 23rd session of the Conference of the Parties in Bonn, Germany. Wasting no time, Bainimarama set the agenda for negotiators with the aim of agreeing to a 1.5 degrees Celsius cap on global warming, as well as open up an oceans pathway in the discussions of global climate action. And effective last month, sea cucumbers of Beach Dimmer will no longer be exported from Fiji in an initiative to revive the much depleted stocks of sea cucumbers. Persons involved in the harvesting for export of sea cucumbers from today could face fines up to $10,000 and or 3 years imprisonment. And 436 firefighters received an early Christmas gift as they got an average of 21% increase in their base salaries backdated to August. And on December 25th, Fijians of all ages got together to celebrate Christmas with family and friends, beginning with church masses, Christmas services, together with Christmas carols by children and church choirs. However, one that could not be missed was food, of course, be it a big feast or a small one. Akusita Tali, FBC News.
Police are working around the clock to arrest escapee Deshwar Dutt, who has been labelled as dangerous by the Police Commissioner Brigadier General Siti Veningilio. Dutt escaped from the Nandi Magistrates Court 2 weeks ago. He is known for offences relating to robbery with violence, aggravated robbery and theft. Police Commissioner Brigadier General Siti Veningilio confirms they have also questioned and released Dutt's wife and a few other people.
We've gotten close to him since his escape. But he's been effective in evading us, and if anybody has information on him, Deshwar is dangerous. His modus operandi is known. He goes into those planned criminal activities. We are eager to get him off the streets. And we'll also take to task anybody who assists him in any way, because it just prolongs our operations. There are a lot of resources, money that are involved in getting him off the street. So we will deal with everybody who's involved in harboring him or assisting him in any way.
The National Fire Authority will look into recruiting additional firefighters next year once they open more fire stations around the country. This was highlighted by NFA Chair John O'Connor, who says they've always received a large number of interested applicants in every recruitment drive.
In the last recruit, we only recruited 35. We had more than 1,000 applicants. So, I think those who have been given the opportunity to serve as firefighters must value the opportunity. Now that they will be rightly remunerated, they will be expected to perform from everyone, from members of the community and likewise the government and the board and management.
Turning to world news, an explosion in a suicide bomb attack is what Afghan President Ashraf Ghani's office calls a massacre in an area in Kabul yesterday. The attack targeted civilians at a cultural center and affected a nearby news agency. At least 41 people are dead and dozens more are wounded. Ahead in sports with Jamie, Fijian boxer Sebastian Singh believes he's the best in the region, but we now join Akusita Tale for the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening. Coming up, RBF releases its annual economic review. And in growing, Fiji water project launched at Nangaindamu village in Koro. Stay with us.
Moala rarada ranavika au tikongona taunu singatoka ando talitaka na vakaronga na Bula FM namba 2 na serre.
We adora chubuli kurnambili. Iborani batukara hambara binaranga. Do talitakina na vakaronga na Bula FM namba 2 na serre. Bula. Bula FM namba 2 na serre.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji has released its annual economic review. It reports global economic prospects for Fiji in the near term remain favorable, supported by an improved outlook for advanced and emerging market economies. Other highlights were domestically, performance to date remained generally mixed. The total tonnage of sugarcane crushed and sugar produced by the end of the 2017 sugarcane crushing season was higher than last year's. Electricity production rose while gold and timber production fell. Visitor arrivals increased by 6.4%, mainly led by strong growth in New Zealand and U.S. tourist arrivals. Robust consumption and investment activity continues to drive demand. Favorable monetary and labor market conditions, high disposable incomes, and inward remittances continued in support of business investment and consumer spending. And we now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the trading world.
Thank you. A quick look at the markets today. The economic bulletin published by the European Central Bank last night showed that an ample degree of monetary accommodation is still needed to keep inflation in check. Data released by the US showed their seasonally adjusted initial jobless claim was 245,000, unchanged from the previous week. Their international trade deficit increased to 69.7 billion in November, from 68.1 billion in October amid a 5.4 billion rise in imports. In the equities market, major indexes in the US gathered momentum and finished the day with modest gains, and stock markets all showed increases. The markets will now be quiet until Tuesday, and on behalf of HFC Bank and myself, I wish you all have a joyous long weekend and a prosperous new year. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Now looking at today's currency exchange rates set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar was against the US dollar and PNG kina and dipped slightly against the other currencies. And on the commodities market, things were on the rise. Oil prices were up slightly to $59.86 a barrel. Gold was up about $7 at $1,294.63 per ounce. And silver also rose to 16.84 an ounce. In growing Fiji, villages of Nangaindamo on Coral Island now have access to clean water after the launch of a water project. This was an early Christmas and New Year's gift for the 285 villages. Anna Ravulo reports.
It's been a struggle for villagers in Nangaindamo to get back on their feet after Cyclone Winston wiped their homes and livelihood. The village headman says that they had to relocate and water was the main issue for them.
Relocating the village was not an easy task as the new location had no water source and is on a hill. Most villagers did not want to relocate just because of this issue.
Ratu Didivi says that water is their priority at the moment.
We only need water, everything else can come later. We are thankful to the government for this water project as this will definitely help everyone.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Youth said that they are pleased that this project was ready before Christmas.
It is pleasing to see that this village now has a water source and villagers are able to access clean water.
The new water project in Nangaindamo village in Coral Island will allow villagers who live down the hill to build their homes here. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
And that was the last business report this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Akashita, and good evening. Coming up, China names its first Fijian in national sevens team. And Marist Rugby reminds clubs to register early. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के केरिया ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I love मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन टॉक ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
The Chinese national sevens team has recruited a Fijian player for the first time. Peter Wong says he's excited to join the Chinese team early next year Luciana Tangithakimbao has more.
Peter Wong has been playing rugby union and rugby league for the past 5 years. His dream was to represent Fiji at the international level. Peter says being named to a national team came after a lot of hard work.
I'm the first person to be chosen. It wasn't easy for me being chosen because I had to go through suffering, pain, training, hard stuff. I've been training for 5 years, sacrifice.
Wong says that he is expecting a tough challenge once he goes to China.
The equipment and everything, so I have to try and adapt myself as fast as possible so I can be one of the best one day.
Meanwhile, proud dad Sam Wong says that this is an eye-opening experience.
Denied twice and also tried it for the league national team, residence team as well, but he was also then not selected. But we did not lose hope. We kept on pushing him, and persistent pace at the end. And so this is another opportunity for him.
Wong has been trying to represent Fiji for the last 5 years. Despite many attempts, he did not give up. His patience and determination has gained him a spot on the China national sevens team next year. Luciana Tangithakimbao, FBC Sports.
Clubs that want to play in the Fiji Betamarist Sevens are being reminded to pay their registration fees early to avoid disappointment. As the Fiji Betamarist Sevens tournament for 2018 was launched today, Club President Lawrence Tikaram reminded teams of the misfortune of some top clubs that missed out last year.
That the registration closes once the 64 teams pay up before March the 9th. So if we have all teams paid up by January the 2nd, then March the 9th is no longer applicable. Because we've had teams calling us week in, week out. And they must provide the right narration. As you understand, last year we had to drop some major teams who missed out on the Fiji Betamarist Sevens.
WBF Asian Pacific champion Sebastian the Sniper Singh believes he's the best in the region and is eager to start the 2018 season with a win. Singh backs up his comments with a record of 9 knockouts and no losses to a local boxer. Eroni Tuinuku with this report.
Confident statements made by the defending champion as he aims to retain his title in February.
No matter what people say, like there's a lot of local boys who are challenging me right now. But, like they're running their mouth, like I would say they're running their mouth and they talk a bit too much. But at the end of the day, when you get in the ring with me, it's too late to reconcile.
Singh is on a mission to prove to local fighters that he is the king of the ring in the country and the region as well.
And I'm not willing to sign a contract against a local opponent and train 8 weeks and fight for 2-3 rounds. If you look back on my record, every local guy I fought, the fight hasn't lasted more than 2 rounds. So why would I work hard for 8 weeks? I'd rather put on a fight with a good quality opponent and smash it out for 10 rounds.
Westwood Boxing Promotions is aware of what the Sniper is capable of.
I know I'm giving break to a world champ who will be flying our flag in overseas. I was really concerned about him, and I know that he has got a lot of potential which he's gonna show it to the people of Fiji as well in overseas.
The boxing program will be the first event for 2018 and will be held at the Novotel Hotel in Lamy on the 2nd of February next year. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
The USP Islanders Rugby League team has started its pre-season training for the upcoming Vodafone Cup competition. After a strong showing in 2016, the USP Islanders are putting in the hard yards now in the hope of not only finishing the coming season as #1, but also develop players for national duties. Luciana Tangithakimbao reports.
The USP Islanders Rugby League team first hit the field last year, but they finished off in the top 4 of local rugby league competition. Head coach and former Mbati Chone Wesele says they look ahead to an even better result next year.
Approach elimination games. This is one area that we are lack of, and I believe with age comes maturity. This is a very young team, very young Islanders Rugby League players.
Wesele says the young team has bright hopes for the future.
This club and be one of the competitor club in this Fiji National Rugby League competition, and also to produce
as a club to produce good players, elite players, who can lift their hands up and say, yes, I'm ready to represent Fiji in test matches or World Cup.
Meanwhile, USP Islanders reserve grade captain Sepeti Tangilala says he expects a tough level of competition in the coming season.
It will be tough competition, but with the competition that's going on, pretty sure it will be a good win.
So some tough training for a team that has high hopes of making its mark in the coming year. Luciana Tangila Kimbao, FBC Sports.
New Zealand boxer Joshua Parker is a step closer to his world heavyweight showdown against British superstar Anthony Joshua. Both camps have agreed on the percentage slice of the fight purse, which is the money the promotion will make, and the deal should be signed off very soon. That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful, we take a look at the man who would rather swim to work than deal with the stress of traffic congestion. That's coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko lang ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya ko sila tale, naguraramay na omani, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasawale, nagundurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na honga ni BNN.
In new media, for parents who have a hard time putting their babies to sleep, the Ford company might just have the solution. The car company has made a prototype of a new kind of crib that simulates all the best parts of a car ride without the exhaust. It's Weather Time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's the weekend and a long one too. The weather seems all good and I know getaway plans are being made already. But first up, taking a look in the west. Pretty awesome sunshine on this side. Eastwards from Peck Harbor to Suva, sunny as well with light showers indicated for tonight. And up north, a splendid day on this corner. At sea, easterly winds 10 to 15 knots with moderate seas. And for the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 4:05 with low tide at 10:09. Sunrise will be at 6:32. For tomorrow, the day looks good with few passing showers in the eastern and northern division. And tomorrow's temps, Suva, Lambasa and Savu-Savu will be cool with highs of 28 degrees. And looking further on to Sunday, it's New Year's Eve and there's chance of light showers. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse today, we asked, what is your New Year's resolution for 2018?
New Year's resolution would be to try out new things, even though I may not be too comfortable with it.
This resolution would be to be a better person.
So my New Year's resolution is just to prioritize my time and go to church a lot.
My New Year resolution is to look for a right guy.
My New Year resolution was to quit drinking all over the year.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, most people commute by bus, train or car to get to work. But Benjamin David gets to work by plunging into Munich's river. Benjamin David was fed up with the stress of commuting on busy city roads. So he now packs his laptop, suit and shoes into a waterproof bag, straps it to his back and swims 2 kilometers to work in Germany. Recapping the main stories, Tambuya responds to suspension. LTA suspends 2 companies for overloading and shortage of qualified tradesmen a concern. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, should there be harsher penalties for people involved in temple sacrilege? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day was taken at the Hideaway Resort, captured by Kishore Mishra on Christmas Day. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable long weekend. Bye for now.
Bula, kera mai singa toka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji One and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Utiko minasong futikola, ndo tali taka na Radio Fiji One and Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyaga sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tajiri ang gitu Venezuela, nagpunto rongo. Barong na Radio Fiji One and Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji One and Domoy Viti na honga ni BNN.